Yo guys, it's GMC Nerf Project here. I know it's been forever since I last made a video, and I want to apologize about that. I've just kind of been busy with a lot of different stuff. I've been working on different Nerf projects, I just haven't put them in video form and posted them up, and so I want to apologize to all my subscribers for that, and I just hope to be making videos more regularly in the future. But this is actually my Maverick mod guide, and I was modding this Maverick with the intention of selling it, and I still have that intention. And I figured I might as well take some pictures along the way and show you guys how to do it, even though you probably already know how to. This is just a good reference. And every good channel has a Maverick mod guide, so why not? Alright, so you just want to start with your blaster. And the first thing that you want to do is unscrew the 3 screws on the slide. Keep track of the orange sight piece and spring that are in there, because you don't want to lose those. And take off the slide and set that aside, and oh, that rhymes. But anyway, so you want to unscrew the rest of the body screws. It's pretty straightforward where they are. No more hidden, and once you do that, you can set them above the gun in the shape of the blaster. That's just what I like to do because I don't lose my screws that way, and I know where they go. Because it's the biggest pain in the butt when you don't, and you just have a pile of screws, and you're like, where do these go? And you don't really know. So, yeah, so then you can take off the shell and get into the internals. And there they are, and ooh, that's a good picture. Thumbs up for high quality. It's a good internal picture. So anyway, you want to start with your plunger tube, and you want to re-grease that because on the Maverick, you need to keep it very well greased all the time because the grease tends to get sticky and old, or I don't know, but it definitely reduces range if you don't re-grease it. So I've just noticed that, and that's a good tip for modding the Maverick. But anyway, so once you've re-greased that, you can move on to the barrel system. Now take the cylinder and you want to remove the bar that extends through it. You can use 2 flathead screwdrivers. I used a hammer just because that's what I prefer. But either way, you want to be careful and gentle not to break anything or scrape the plastic. And once you get the bar off, you're going to see this cap and spring that comes off. Make sure you keep track of those. You don't want to lose those. And you might notice that my cap is black instead of orange. A lot of the parts in my gun are just kind of quirky colors. Not really sure why. You might just notice that some of them are mismatched in different colors, and it seems like Hasbro just decided to put a bunch of multicolored pieces in my gun. They work the same, but it's just kind of quirky. But anyway, okay, you want to take your cylinder and unscrew the 3 screws that are on the back. You're going to have to rotate this gray piece around to get to all 3, but once you've done that, just take off the back plate and you should see all these pieces on the inside. Take them out and you can throw away all the pieces except these, because the rest are air restrictors and they are trash because they're practically useless. If you can think of a use for the springs, then good for you, because that's pretty impressive because they are horrible springs. But anyway, you want to cut off the bars that are attached to these plates, because I think you might actually be able to use streamlines with the bars still on, but you definitely can't use Steffens, and why would you want to keep it on? Anyway, it's just kind of something there. So I cut it off. And then if you look at this picture right here, you can see that there's a lot of blockage on the inside of this plate. You can drill out the inside. It's not necessary because if you're going to drill out the inside, there's the possibility that you might damage your air seal. I'll show you what I'm talking about with a close-up image here. Okay, I'm going to pull up this piece again to try and demonstrate what I'm saying. We have 3 ridges on this piece. We have the ring itself at the bottom, then you have another ring that's a little bit smaller, and then you have the smallest ring, which is raised a little bit and it has a flat edge. If you were to destroy that ring, then that piece would not fit inside the barrel correctly, and that is what gives you your air seal. So drilling out the inside is, it has its benefits if you're going to be rebarreling the thing. Best airflow is always better, but the airflow isn't going to change that much if you're one who doesn't want to get into it. You don't have a Dremel and you don't want to do things, don't have a steady hand, you don't want to do things that are going to possibly damage your gun. Don't drill out the inside. You really don't have to, but I do have a Dremel and I'm pretty steady-handed, so here I actually did drill out all the 6 pieces for best airflow. As you can see in this picture, the inside of these rings might be a little bit rough, but I did that in order to keep the ring at the top of the plate completely intact, so that it'll fit snugly inside the barrels and make a perfect air seal. I'm very happy with that. I think that was pretty good Dremel work, and it's relatively clean, so that will be the way it is. And now you can just reassemble your cylinder. We're all done with the mods on the inside, and now we just need to take care of a mod on the outside. As you can see, this gray piece right here has this arc-shaped piece of plastic on it. that actually prevents the barrels from dropping out farther. So by cutting off this piece, I prefer using a razor or an X-Acto knife. An X-Acto knife is pretty flimsy, so you might want something with a little bit more strength. One of those slide out razors might be better, but you just slice that off and sand it down so it's smooth, and that, along with another modification to the shell, will allow you to have your barrel drop out farther. Okay, here you need to look at the shell, and you'll see this yellow nub right there. That also prevents your barrels from dropping out farther, so you need to sand that off or cut it off with a razor. It's kind of at an awkward angle, so you want to be very careful not to put a bunch of scratches and damage your shell, but take some time to get it, but once you get it, it should be nice and smooth. And I used a combination of sandpaper and a razor, and it took a while. It took me like 15 minutes, but I finally got it, and it's very clean, so I'm happy with that. And once you do that, you can move on to your spring. Now this mod here, it's probably the simplest of all the mods, but it helps the most in your power. What you need to do is add a few pennies behind the spring. It could be 3, it could be 5, it could be anywhere in there, because Maverick springs do not all compress perfectly alike. Plus, pennies do have some waver on how worn down they are and how thick they are. So you should start with 3 pennies, and then what you do is you want to close up your blaster. Just put a few screws in around the plunger tube area, or just hold it together and cock the blaster back once, and if it cocks back and holds good, then you take apart the blaster and you add 1 more penny. And you do the same thing again until eventually your blaster will not cock back. And then you just take 1 penny out, and you know that you're getting the perfect amount of power out of your spring. Okay, this part in the video is optional. This is actually a fix to the problem that some people have been having where their Maverick won't rotate correctly. Then they have to rotate it by hand and hold it in place as it fires, and it's just super impractical. So here we have our rotation mech, and you need to unscrew these 2 screws here. You don't have to pull them out all the way, just enough so that you can kind of wiggle this piece around until it comes out. And once it comes out, you look at the back of it, and you should see this screw right here. This screw is a tough screw. It's in there very good, so you want to get a very well fitting screwdriver so that you don't strip the screw, and you just work at it. You don't want to strip it, so obviously you want to go slowly. And once the screw comes out, you'll have all these pieces here. As you know, on my videos, I like to try and explain to you how things work, so I'm going to do my best here. These 2 pieces fit together as these teeth lock into each other, and then they're pushed together by this spring. Now, when you rotate the barrels by hand, or you rotate the cylinder by hand, these 2 pieces have friction on each other, and they go 1 notch. The spring retracts a little bit, and it as you do this with your hands, you'll know what I'm talking about. It clicks once, and as you do it with your hand, as you keep moving the cylinder, it'll just click multiple times. Now, over time, that can wear down these 2 pieces, so maybe they're not holding correctly, and your barrel system, it just isn't rotating right. So the 2 options are that you can glue these 2 pieces together, or you can double up the spring power. You can get a second spring by going to a thrift store and getting a really cheap Maverick and salvaging it for parts or something. But if you don't have another Maverick and another spring, then you can just glue these 2 pieces together, and that should fix your problem. You won't be able to rotate the barrels by hand anymore, keep that in mind, but everything should work perfectly. And yeah, we're done with our Maverick mod guide. So you just want to put all your internals back into your shell and then screw it up, and it's all done. I have a lot of videos that will be coming up. I know in most of my videos I've been saying, coming soon, I have the sequel to this video, and I haven't posted many of those up, and I apologize for that. Most of them are in the making, and some of them are almost done. I just want to put my finishing touches on them so that they're just right. So more videos will be coming, and thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe.